Welcome back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships 2015 in Kyoto, Japan. If you're just tuning in, my name's Matt, and joining me here for a commentary is Jerome. Hey Jerome, how you doing?
I'm doing all right so far, and let me tell you, all of you at home are in for a treat. The word around the convention center earlier yesterday and throughout the weekend was somebody's playing Harpies. Someone went to the card shop and was buying up the Harpies. Turns out that was actually a judge, but somebody is playing Harpies, and it's Jörg Mueller of Germany.
I'm very excited to see this, because I actually asked Jorg when I met him in the airport when we were traveling over here, how did he decide that Harpies was a good idea? And he said, oh, he's spoken to a lot of the high-level players in the German community that have, like Joshua Smith, players that have actually played in the World Championships, and they came up with this idea for this Harpy deck, which I would be very nervous about coming in if like a bunch of guys said, hey, play Harpies in the World Championships. I'd be like, no, you're having me on. There's something not right here. But he's believed in it, and he's still in with a shot for a top 8 slot.
And there is a theory behind it, and it goes like this. If you're playing against a lot of Clifforts and Ritual Beasts, being able to destroy spell and trap cards basically at will on your opponent's turn through the effect of Harpy's Hunting Ground with, say, Hysteric Party, that can just completely knock them out of the game. Okay, I activate Scout. Okay, I summon back 5 monsters and destroy all your cards. And what are you going to do about it?
Not a lot in this case. His opponent's going to be Oliver Jack from Australia. I believe he's from Australia.
Yes.
And he's playing Clifford, so it's actually a very favourable
New
matchup.
Zealand.
For New Zealand. My apologies, Oliver, for when you watch this back.
And Jorg starts out very strong with Summoner Monk discarding Hysteric Sign.
Oh, that is an incredible start. That'll give him so much fuel.
It resolves, and that is Harpy Harpist on the field.
So many cards to show you that you probably haven't seen before. Let's start with Hysteric Sign.
The two are combined for rank 4 Xyz summon of Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. And in the end phase, all sorts of good things are going to happen for Jorg.
Allows him to add up to 3 Harpy cards with different names from their decks at hand. In the OCG format, you can even add Harpy's Feather Duster. Not for this tournament, though, but just a fun little thing you can do with that card.
Ptolemaeus gets hooked up with another Tellarknight from the extra deck, and now Jorg is going to grab Harpy Queen, Harpy Channeler, and Harpy Dancer. So that's for extra normal summons, searching out Harpy's Hunting Ground, and summoning other monsters from the deck. Let's take a look. Is he playing with the Pet Dragon? No, he's not. So rank 7 is off the board here, but he has plenty of rank 4 fuel, and he can get to 5 with the help of Tellarknight Ptolemaeus.
Yeah, and there's some excellent wind monsters, for example, Lightning Chidori, very, very powerful.
Yes.
Rank 4 XE, only available to the wind attribute. Is it wind or wind?
It's 2 level 4 wind monsters.
Wind monsters, yeah.
You can also get the Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. While it has Xyz material, it can't be targeted for attacks or card effects. Let's see if he's playing it. He is not. That's actually not too surprising. The extra material is a little bit too much to invest a lot of the time if you're playing Harpies, especially if you're playing a strategy that needs Summoner Monk to resolve. But he's got a double Lightning Chidori, which is very strong, I think.
Particularly good in this matchup, I believe.
You can hit a face down and a face up. Basically, on the turn it is summoned. And just like that, Jorg's hand is completely refilled. He's got Ptolemaeus on the field and a face down card.
He's got that Harpy Queen in his hand, so he has got access straight for the field spell next. Oh, there's Hysteric Party going down.
He does, and he loses Hysteric Party to Mystical Space Typhoon. Let's take a look at what rank 5s could be coming out here. Summoner's Art up next. That'll get a normal monster out of the deck. This is generally used for Clifford Scout, which is a pendulum monster, but it's also a normal monster. Consular Pleiades is the play from Jorg in response.
That's interesting. Would you have responded at that point? Because the Pleiades is not going to bounce a Scout,
Right.
surely, after you pay 800.
Right. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what his plan is here, but if I were to guess, I would say he wants to wait for the Scout to pick something up, and then when the normal summon happens, Generally, one of the stronger opening plays for Clifford's is normal summon a guy, play sacrifice on that guy. He wants to bounce that monster away before the sacrifice can be played, so that he has a shot, open shot at Oliver's life points next turn.
Oliver does have the complete pendulum skill, though. He does have the monolith also in hand, so even if his normal summon does get countered.
Right, but he can't actually make a particularly powerful tribute summon.
This is true.
He would have to pendulum summon out Disc and then tribute summon Helix for essentially nothing to get one draw out of Monolith. It's definitely not worth it.
No Clifford Towers in this match. I don't believe he plays Clifford Towers because it's one that sort of appeared up a lot in the European WCQ and quickly became one of the most hated cards in the entire room.
All right, let's see what he's going to get with the Scout. I don't believe he's made the selection yet, and he goes Carrier. Carrier, scale 1. This is the one that, if it is tributed, lets you bounce a monster back to the hand. Helix, at scale 9, is the one that destroys a spell or trap card when it's tributed. So with that, things look a little bit better. It's entirely possible that Monolith could be played, Pendulum summon Helix and Carrier, and then try to tribute summon Disc, but because the Pleiades is there, that's not likely to go through.
That's true. He can't affect monsters with a rank or level lower than Disc, is that correct?
For a normal summoned? Yeah, for normal summoned Cliffort monsters, they are unaffected by the monster effects that are activated by monsters with a lower rank or level than theirs.
So his
Than
only
their
way to
level.
stop the tribute here is if he uses Pleiades here,
Yes.
which, yeah,
Pendulum
Jorg
summoned
is-
for 2. He says, hang on a sec, I'm going to activate Pleiades. So he's either going to do it before all the searching or after the searching. I probably would have waited until after the Scout search so that my opponent would have to give me absolutely as much information as possible.
yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is that there is still a tribute summon play here, because Carrier is level 6. And the reason he bounced Carrier is so that Pleiades is not under threat, which it would be if Carrier was tributed for Helix.
This looks like it could get quite bad for Oliver, because he does have the Harpy's Queen in his hand ready to get the field spell, Harpy's Hunting Ground.
All right, so Harpy Harpist is being activated from the graveyard. That was the last material left on the Pleiades, because it was sent to the graveyard this turn during the end phase. Jorg can pick up a Winged Beast with 1500 or a level 4 Winged Beast, 1500 or less attack from his deck, and add it to his hand.
Now, for you guys at home, you can just take a quick look at the card there if you're unfamiliar.
So this can be used, for example, to get the Harpy Lady 1.
Which he's playing is also get Harpy Channeler, I believe. Is that correct?
Harpy Channeler, I believe it's small enough. Yeah, it looks like he's got a second Channeler. Harpy Channeler is 1400, Harpy Dancer is 1200, so it's basically everything. One card face down, finishes it up for Oliver, and Jorg is up.
Yep, we're going to see Harpy Queen getting Harpy's Hunting Ground. This is the key field spell we were talking about just before the match.
Gives a bonus, attack point bonus to Harpies, and each time one is summoned, normal or special summoned, the player who did so targets a spell or trap on the field and destroys it. Now, even if the Torrential is played, this is a mandatory effect, so it'll activate right now. So Oliver will get to see which card is going to be destroyed.
The really interesting thing about Harpy's Hunting Ground is it's not even once per turn.
Correct. So he could pick up the Dancer to get another normal summon, and then use that normal summon to destroy something else. For example, the Channeler.
Channeler activates, gets
And
another
then
guy.
summon another thing. He could wipe out Oliver's entire field.
Yeah. I think was he trying to return the Constellar Pleiades? No, sorry, he's using the...
And we've got a quick little bit of confusion there.
Sorry, I'll just pull up Dancer to make sure I know.
I did not see which card exactly was targeted by the Hunting Ground, but Lance is being used to save the Harpy Dancer. Very good move from Jorg. That means he's going to be able to get his extra normal summon anyways. Now the real question is, what did he target with the hunting ground. If it was the face down, then he's not going to be able to take out both ends of the pendulum scale this time around. Oh, or maybe he is because he's got the channeler. All right, so channeler now activates.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to return a bleedy. Sorry, that was my mistake. Return a wind monster, then normal summon.
Yeah. So he returned the dancer itself.
Yep. But he
drops Harpy Harpist in the graveyard. That'll get him that card's effect too in the end phase.
York's deck is flowing like a very well-oiled engine here.
This is exactly what it's supposed to do. Just systematically pick apart all the Cliffords.
Yeah, this is absolutely best matchup, I think, of any of the decks that could come here. I mean, his Necros matchup might leave a little bit to be desired, since if your opponent controls no spell or traps, that field spell will destroy itself.
Harpy Lady 1 is the summon off of Channeler, and that will take out the Monolith. That goes to the extra deck as well. And the great thing here is that he's stranded Oliver with 2 Scale 1 cards in his hand, so he can't just bring those back without a significant stroke of luck.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot of cards that he could access, though, right? That would get him straight back in.
Summoner's Art would be the best one. He could just pick up one of the other 9s naturally, another Carrier, for example. I think Carrier and Scout are his only 9s. Helix, Stealth, and Disc are all Scale 1.
He could probably pick up Sacrifice as well and make a play off of that.
I don't know that he'd get away with that. I think he might get bounced back to the deck by Lightning Chittery.
Yeah, that's true.
Battle phase happens. Main phase 2, here comes Steel Swarm Roach. That can negate the Pendulum summon of high-level monsters. Hysteric Sign activated next. That's going to let him grab Elegant Egotist from his deck. Not quite as good as it was in the original series. You're not going to get 9 Harpies a turn, even with the Seal of Orichalcos in play.
Oh, that would have been pretty crazy to see.
But it's a good card to have because it turns 1 Harpy into 2.
Yeah, and it gives you more destruction on scale. So even if Oliver assembles the scale, if he can't win this turn, he's likely to watch all of his cards get blown up, and then more XE summons happening off of this.
And the scary thing is, if he tries to get around by not playing any spell or trap cards, York can just destroy his own Hysteric Sign with Harpy's Hunting Ground and get more cards at the end phase.
I don't think Oliver can really pass this turn. He needs to make something happen.
He has to do something, and the reason why you would play Clifforts in a situation like this is that it has the best chance to just get lucky.
Yeah.
1 Scout, you're totally back in it.
Yeah, and there's a Summoner's Art, so it's the same as drawing his...
He's drawing another Scout.
Scout. And so then he can complete his scale, he can then summon from the extra deck, he can get Disc, and he can make a big play here.
Now, without Roach is the problem here.
Yeah.
Those monsters are still level 6 and higher, or still level 5 and higher until they get to the field.
So he's actually completely locked out here.
Yeah, he needs to basically, he needs to art for the Scout for Sacrifice, and then normal summon something and attack over Roach before he's going to be able to Pendulum summon.
Okay, so he's not going to be able to press that much damage through this turn.
Right.
That's the correct play where we won't see him lose his entire extra deck.
Yeah, this... You don't just throw your cards into Steel Swarm Roach. That's
that's
not
madness.
wise.
Not how you win a world championship.
Nope.
if I'm honest.
And every play is magnified at this level because both of these duelists need this one to keep going.
Yeah, York has this huge element of surprise. I imagine a lot of people may have looked at the Harpies cards a long time ago and then written it off and said, this isn't probably going to happen. And well, here we are at the World Championships and someone choosing to play the Harpy deck.
Now Oliver is very carefully considering his position here. He knows what he needs to do, but the question is, how do you do it and leave yourself the best chance to mount an offense? He's very much on the defensive now, which is not where Clifforts excel. They excel at just constantly pumping out offense, and that Roach is making it difficult to do so.
Did York forget a search there for his Harpy Harpist?
It's optional. He doesn't have to do it, I believe.
Yeah, it's optional. He might have just missed a search or decided he didn't need it.
Could be either. But yes, it is optional. Summoner's Art. That's the kind of thing you don't want to forget unless you have a plan for one of the other cards in your deck. It could be that he's running out of Harpies and he wants to leave something for Channeler to summon.
Yeah, which is incredibly likely this situation. He's also got Elegant Egotist, which pulls another card out of the deck.
Right.
And he takes out his own Historic Sign. He's got 3 more searches on the horizon anyway.
Clifford Scout is the search. Goes ahead, pays 800 life points to the Scout.
Does Oliver play a second Monolith?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, he's just playing one card.
Picks up Climate Change. That's one way to get the monolith back. But you gotta survive.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get to take this turn off.
You gotta survive. If you don't know how much damage Harpies can actually put out in one turn, this is not the place you want to find out.
Yeah. The carrier, if I remember correctly, either lowers or increases the attack of Klee monsters.
Yes, one of them lowers the attack of non-Klee monsters, one increases the attack of Klee monsters.
So he could potentially make a normal summon. Yeah, he's activating the disc in the pendulum zone.
That'll pump the carrier up to 2100. Disc as a, it's the scale 1 Clifforts that increase your own Klee monsters' attack points. So that takes out the Roach, and that'll unlock his extra deck. I don't know that he'll necessarily take too much of that option, because he did just go search out Climate Change, and if you were going to pendulum summon all your things, I would think you would take Sacrifice instead.
He kind of needs to hold that Sacrifice so he can recover from this impending swarm of Harpies. So I'm going to sweep out his scales again this turn.
Let's see, that is Helix. Helix is pendulum summoned back. The first Scout and the Monolith stay in the extra deck so that Oliver can pick them back up. Yor quickly makes note of what modifications to attack points are taking place. There's an increase on both sides. Increase for Harpy Ladies on Yorg's side, and an increase for Klee monsters on Oliver's side. Harpy Dancer, normal summoned. Yep. Forces the issue on Climate Change. Brings back up to 3 Klee cards from the extra deck to your hand. Both come back.
Then comes the Channeler.
Is replaced. Dancer goes back to the hand and is replaced by Channeler. Harpy's Hunting Ground activates. And Scout is destroyed again. And now Yor goes into his extra deck to take a look at what he might want to summon here. Those 2 Clifforts are both level 4 because they were special summoned. Or were they both no, the one was special summoned, one was normal summoned without tribute, so they're still both level 4. But only one of them is immune to monster effects of lower level things. Harpist is brought out, and Harpist actually has 2 abilities, but the other one is when it's normal summoned, so we haven't seen that yet. And the question here is what card to destroy with Hunting Ground this time. He could get some more cards by destroying his own sign in the end phase, or he could take out the attack boost from the other Cliffort monsters. Now there's a very good reason to leave the disc there, and it's because you don't want your opponent to have both Scout and Monolith in their pendulum zones.
Yeah, that's a very bad situation to be in, especially when your opponent then just follows up with a quick pendulum summon followed by tribute.
So he takes out his own Hysteric Sign instead, and that's going to help him refill the hand at the end of the turn. Elegant Egotist.
Oh, he's going to sweep everything.
Cyber Harpy is the choice, and this time he destroys his own Hunting Ground. Harpist is combined with Harpy Channeler for a rank 4. Oh,
This is
that is number 103, Ragna 0. Not bad at all, Mr. Mueller. Ragna 0 destroys monsters that have attack points that are different than their original attack and lets you draw a card when you do. Because those monsters are plus 300, they are valid targets for Ragna 0's effect, and that will let Jorg destroy them during either player's turn and draw a card while he's at it.
Another valid just reason of leaving that disc there is it essentially gives him a way of taking out any of his opponent's monsters in the opponent's turn as well and gaining an additional card out of it.
Yep. All right, and he detaches Harpist to destroy Carrier, gets an extra draw out of it. Goes to battle phase, it sounds like. It looks like Mueller's got double queen in his hand. Jorg checks his text of Harpy's hunting ground to see if he wants another one right now. Ragna 0 attacks into the Helix. Helix is destroyed. It's 300 damage incoming, plus another 1,800 from Cyber Harpy. And in the end phase, looks like Jorg is going to use first his Harpy Harpist effect for Channeler. And then it would be his Egotist effect, his Hysteric Sign effect up next.
Getting another 3 cards.
Let's check real fast. Hysteric Sign. Oh, he does not activate Hysteric Sign.
I think in this case it's very likely he's running wrong targets. Well, no, actually he plays a huge number of Harpies.
Plays back to Oliver.
Oliver picking up Solemn Warning, which is... He can still activate it, but he's not in a good position to do so. Especially if he wants to use Scout this turn, he switches off Solemn Warning.
The thing with Hysteric Sign is that you actually have to use its effect if you can.
Oh, right, okay.
So if he's not using it, it's because Harpist brought him down to only 2 Harpy cards left in the deck. Oliver's down to 1,600. And he's grabbing another search off of Cliffort's Scout. 1,600 puts him too low to use the Solemn Warning in his hand. That takes 2,000. And would have been very useful to have quite a long time ago. The extra deck is loaded right now for Oliver, so he has all the material he would need for a big tribute summon. Just 1 stealth, of which I think he plays 3, could help him get back into the game.
Absolutely.
Jorg does play Gagaga Cowboy in his extra deck, so if he could get 800 more life points off him, a Harpy Channeler would actually seal it. Stealth is the choice. I do think we might see a situation where Oliver winds up destroying his own disc so that he can replace it with the monolith.
Yeah.
Goes for a Pendulum Summon. Looks like he is using all 3 from his extra deck. That's Helix, Carrier, and Scout.
2 monsters tributed.
Looks like
for-
Carrier and Scout are both tributed for stealth. Carrier is Chainlink 1, followed by Stealth, which will stop Jorg from responding with his Ragna Zero. And he does indeed bounce Ragna Zero while destroying. Now he bounces the Ragna Zero and bounces Disc. That's right, he did not tribute Helix, he tributed Carrier. So the monster chosen was Ragna Zero, and then the card chosen for Stealth was the Disc. 2,800 damage gets through. That'll drop Jorg to 5,000. Monolith comes down in main phase 2, and Oliver will get the chance to draw 2 cards.
Not a bad turn for Oliver.
1,600 left. Harpy Queen is discarded for another Hunting Ground. And he activates it.
Then we see a Channeler.
Channeler summoned. Hunting Ground activates. Destroys the face down, which is the unplayable Solemn Warning. Channeler activated, discarding Queen.
Yeah, he's made a minor mistake. If he had to search for the free cards,
Yes.
he must have just forgotten to search. Because if he wasn't able to resolve it, he wouldn't be getting. Oh, he could have just had 2 left in the stack.
Yes, he's only played 2 more. He destroys the Scout with Queen's effect, or with the Hunting Grounds effect off the summon of Dancer. Yeah, we've only seen 2 more Harpy cards, which was the Queen and that other, or rather the Dancer and the second Hunting Ground. He only plays 2 Hunting Ground. It's not a field spell that you want to double up on or triple up on if you draw it naturally.
No, normally by the time you're getting rid of it, it's because your opponent's run out of spells and traps to go after.
All right. Picks up Dancer for its own effect, and then normal summons it again. Or rather, normal summons it. This time it takes out Monolith. Now we've got a rank 4 Ixie summon. Now to be careful here. That Stealth is unaffected by essentially any of his monster effects right now. So what he could do is, I guess, summon Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and use it to drain the attack points of the Helix
Getting the 1200 run over the
so that he
stealth.
can attack the Stealth. That would put it up to, I believe, what, 900? Oh, he goes for Zero Fine.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
something you see very often.
So that'll gain attack points for the Hunting Ground, if I recall correctly, because the Hunting Ground is for Winged Beasts.
I'll just pull the text up.
Yes, Winged Beasts. 300 for each face-up card currently on the field, except this card. So that would be 1, 2, 3. Now you got to be careful because you are bringing back the attack points of Helix. So at this point, Ice Beast Zero Fine, after detaching, would be... Its natural attack is, what, 2,000? So it'd go up to 29 plus 200 more for the Hunting Ground? Or 300? Whatever it is, it'd be just enough.
I'd say Oliver's done very well to hold into this game, considering how Jorg has seemed to have been having everything go his way. So far.
Yes, it's 200. So, 1, 2, 3 is 900 plus 200. So yeah, Zero Fine would be 3,100. Should be able to get 300 damage through this way. Now, Zero Fine will not actually negate the effects of stealth, but it doesn't need to. You negate the effects of as many face-up cards your opponent controls as possible, which is only one in this case. And if you do, you get 300 attack for each face-up card currently on the field, except this one, of which there are 3. And I believe that's the discussion that's taking place right now, is did I do the first thing so that I can do the second thing?
And Disc is also scale of 1, so he doesn't have another complete scale if this gets taken out.
Correct. Stealth and Disc are both 1.
So Oliver is essentially back to where he was a few turns ago, trying to re-establish a scale. Because if he gets that scale, he looks like he's in an absolute fine position. He's got, like, most of his monsters are in his extra now.
Yeah, if he picks up a 9, he will win the game. Probably this turn.
Yeah, I don't believe that's too far out the wrong possibility. I mean, he's got the Clifford Disc in hand. If he picks up the 9, he can put the Stealth, the 9, Pendulum Summon, Disc, and he'd just definitely have everything that he needs
Yeah,
to...
you Pendulum Summon everything, summon Stealth, win.
Yeah, that works. Actually, I like that play better.
Yeah, and the Disc gives you plus 300 just in case you weren't sure that you were going to win. Looks like we have a bit of a moment here, so let's take a look at the standings after... Oh, no. I guess that's like if you get up to take a phone call while you're waiting at a restaurant, your food will come immediately after you leave.
Yep, 100% every time.
All right, so it looks like Zero Fine is back. Perhaps a decision has not been made regarding its attack points. All right, let's go and do those standings. First place, Miguel Soto. Second, Chase Cunningham. Third, Galileo de Obaldia. Fourth, Ito Marcus. Fifth, Akira Hasegawa. Sixth, Jacob David Finney. Seventh, Shunsuke Hiyama. And eighth, Akira Kitaya. First one out right now is Noah Green at ninth.
And still one more round to play after this one before we determine who will be in our top 8 for the World Championships.
One more round to play. Just about anything could happen at this point.
Every point counts.
Important 3 points on the line here. These players cannot take a draw.
Yeah,
That would be disastrous.
They can't draw or lose. That's just puts them so far behind in the standings. They are most likely not going to make the cut.
Meanwhile, on the Dragon Duel side, oh, hang on, we're back. Might be back.
And we all lean forward to
See just what's going on. That is the most attention that Zero Fine has gotten in quite some time, I think.
I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that probably just skipped over it in a booster and went, it's there.
That was, I believe it's Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy.
Oh, that was definitely a set that you would probably overlook this card.
I mean, there are a lot of very good rares
Yeah.
in that set. Zero Fine is one of them.
Yes. Oh, all the sevens. Just
A lot of
still
very
having
good
nightmarish
rares.
memories of that.
Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon was one of them as well.
Yeah, which is the pseudo Nightmare Shark attacking.
Yeah, the
directly
3-turn Nightmare Shark
that you
kind
can't
of thing.
actually target with anything, so it's going to get a huge chunk of damage in.
So I believe what's happened at this point is a judge came over and an initial ruling was given on Zero Fine, and I believe the current situation is that the ruling is being appealed.
It's the most likely.
If we have information on what exactly the initial ruling was or what's going on, we'll provide that to you. Till then, stick around, hang with us. The matchups that are going on right now in the all ages bracket. Table 1 is Chase Cunningham and Miguel Soto, a matchup between American players. Jacob Finney is taking on Galileo de Obaldia, At table 2,
Former world champion looks like he's going to make it through again.
very probable at this point. Noah Green at table 3 is taking on Shunsuke Hiyama. So looks like he might make another return to day 2 of the World Championship. Akira Hasegawa, who we saw earlier, is playing Ito Marcus. Ito Marcus has a very interesting deck. I'd love to get a look at that before we're done here today.
Absolutely.
Table 5 is Issei Nakayama and Akira Kitaya, a matchup between Japanese players. 6, we got Gerardo Jesus Delgado Portilla and Ricardo Logia. 7 is Hayato Kawanami, we saw him before as well, and Matt Kalenda. Maxwell Schrack takes on Kikian Sim Sam on table 8. And, well, you know where we are right now.
Really interesting about this tournament that we haven't seen for a lot of World Championships is we have many returning players. Considering how difficult it is to get onto the world stage, there is a lot of familiar faces. For example, Oliver played in 2012 in Tokyo. Ito Marcus played World Championships back in 2005.
Sometimes it takes a long time to get back.
This is true. This is absolutely true. We've got Bill McCavitt in the Dragon Duel. He's returning. We've got last year's Dragon Duel winner, actually aged out of the Dragon Duel. He's now playing in the all-age bracket.
He's graduated much like Oliver Tomaiko did last year.
And Oliver finished third, I believe.
Yeah, he had a fantastic performance
in Rimini.
last time around.
Very nearly securing a second World Championship title.
Don't believe Kim Chan-ho is having quite as much success, though.
As mentioned, Galileo is a former world champion. He's also playing here this weekend. We've got Sonsuke Hiyama, also returning from Rimini. Is there any other players you recognize on that list?
From previous World Championships? I do not. And it looks like we're back to play. Not super certain what happened, but Zero Fine has taken down Helix. Now, if Helix has been destroyed, that's probably to prevent it from being attributed to destroy the hunting ground. Normal summon another stealth, and we see that Oliver's got Forbidden Chalice in his hand, which he can use to negate the effect of his own monster.
Yeah, that's representing 5,600 points of damage on the table. Actually, a little higher than that with Forbidden Chalice, but okay, Phoenix Chain.
Phoenix Chain is activated on the stealth, which should be at 2,800 attack. It should be smaller, at least equivalent to Zero Fine. Stealth attacks. Forbidden Chalice used in the damage step.
To raise that up to 3,200 attack points.
Yep. Brings it back up to 2,800 by negating its effect, plus 400 more. Makes it 32.
I really like Forbidden Chalice in this deck.
Yes.
It's a giant attack pump, and it's also got utility against your opponent's monsters as well as negation on those key moments where you need it.
Yorg takes some damage.
And play comes back to Yorg.
Haven't quite seen what he has yet. It's Harpy Lady 1. I don't know that that does him a whole lot of good here.
It's his only card if yeah, he just passes. Oh, that's a lot of damage. That's 5,600 right there, and any normal summon.
Not exactly certain what the coin is on that stealth.
It's represented that was tribute summoned.
Ah, okay.
Skill drain drawn by Oliver, but I don't think it matters.
He's got, what, 5,600 damage? On, oh, no, because one has changed. So 2,800 damage represented right now.
So he's got 28 plus whatever his normal summon is. Oh, he's trying to check if he's tributes with Clifford Disc. Does he have enough? And I believe that is 28.
Tributes 2 for Clifford Disc.
28 plus 36. That's definitely lethal.
If he's got enough cards left in his deck to summon. I think he's got a couple Helixes.
That would be absolutely heartbreaking if he doesn't have it. Yeah, there it is.
Carrier Helix. 36 and 28 is exactly 64. Attacks once, twice, thrice.
And that's that. That's
And-
York, who looked like he was in a very strong position in those early stages of the game, and Oliver just keeping those scales coming back. And eventually, even though he was out of options, he just secured one disc summon, and that was enough.
Still not entirely certain what the whole deal with Zero Fine was.
I guess that's just going to be one of life's mysteries after this tournament. We'll ask York and
We can ask him later.
let's see what happened.
That does it for a very lengthy Duel 1.
You see, if I'm York, I'm going to feel pretty broken up about that, considering
Yeah, it
I built
started
my deck
so well.
to win that matchup. My deck did what it was supposed to do, and I lost.
And it basically was just, I mean, if I were to play Clifford's, it's because I know that I have the greatest chance of just winning games that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I'll get my second Scout or I'll get my second Summoner's Art off the top, and suddenly everything's back. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened here.
Yeah, and it just didn't work out for him. And to lose such a favorable matchup in game one, when you're playing these types of decks, you really, really want to win that game one. It's so important, where you've got the element of surprise against your opponent. Losing that, and then your opponent getting two more opportunities to use their side deck to beat you.
You know, to just shut you out, it's kind of brutal.
I'm just going over York's side deck, and he doesn't have a lot of options in here for dealing with Clifford because his deck already
Yeah,
does
you,
that.
you wouldn't need to, because the whole reason you're playing this deck is to beat Clifford.
Yeah. And then your side deck's dedicated to all the remaining stuff, so we might see Mystical Space Typhoons coming in, but otherwise there's not a lot in there that's particularly relevant. How about for Oliver? Does Oliver have anything particularly good against Harpies?
I think you'll find this shocking, but I don't believe that Oliver was taking Harpies into account when he built his deck for the weekend. He's got some Black Horn of Heaven. That could be useful against the various Xyz summons. Vanity's Fiend
Yeah.
is always a winner in these situations to stop strings of special summons, but he has to be careful because it won't work on the extra normal summons granted by Dancer. Debunk could potentially be used to drop the effect of like a channel, or not a channeler, a harpist or a queen.
Sure. It seems a little bit unlikely, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do it. But other than that, it's kind of a potpourri of useful cards in various situations. You know, if we got one card, you got a warrior elimination to take out all the Teller Knights, for example. Oh, he could go for another Chalice. He's got another Chalice in the side deck. That could be
seems
useful.
pretty
That would bring him up to 3 main decked. And it helped him out in that last game. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason he got past Zero Fiend. So I wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to that, especially after the solid result that he got from it in the first game.
Absolutely.
Other than that, not so much.
Yeah, we're probably going to see what we just saw, but hopefully for York, things go a little better.
He could go up to 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, since that's actually quite useful against Harpy's Hunting Ground in particular. And we're heading back to the table. Looks like whatever decisions were made fairly quickly. Players are shuffling up for the next game. Now this is an interesting choice of whether to go first or second for Jorg. I'm not entirely familiar with the Harpy matchups, especially in this particular format.
I'm pretty sure second, because you go straight away for the hunting ground and start picking off cards from Oliver, but then Oliver isn't going to just set a scale and say, destroy them, please. They're sitting right there for you.
That's true. You might start off a little more conservatively. I think if you're Oliver, though, you try to want to gain an insurmountable advantage in the game before your opponent can really do their thing. Now, he's not playing one of the Tramplings variations of the deck, and York does choose to go second. And the opening play is what, Helix and 2 face downs for Oliver?
Yeah.
It's like Torrential and Soul Transition. Soul Transition, very good in this scenario.
Yeah.
Hysteric Sign is activated. That's going to get Elegant Egotist. Now you can only use one of the two effects of Hysteric Sign each turn. So if the transition is used, it can be, he can circumvent the sign's secondary ability.
He's drawn 2 of his decided Mystical Space Typhoons.
That's Harpy Harpist. Normal summoned this time, so he could theoretically use its first effect. We got Elegant Egotist up next. He gets another Harpy Lady from his deck, but it has to be like a legit. This card's name is always treated as Harpy Lady.
Yeah. It's not one of those temporary Harpies.
Right. So Cyber Harpy and Harpy Lady 1 are what he can get. He could not use Harpy Harpist. That's to target a different winged beast you control. A quick translation of Hysteric Sign. I think it's highly likely that Oliver just discovered what we just mentioned, that only one of the 2 effects can be used this turn, and that he can use his soul transition to both draw 2 cards and stop his opponent from searching for 3 cards.
Seems like a fair exchange.
The problem is he's going to have to do it pre-battle if he does,
Going for the Torrential Tribute.
and he can still chain to do both.
There we go.
Not bad at all. Very smart use of the cards.
Yep, that's going to be enough to sweep all 3 cards here and block the Hysteric Sign getting additional searches during the end phase.
All while drawing 2. Could not have gone any better for Oliver.
And York now sat with no monsters at all. He's got a Torrential Tribute and a Bottomless Trap Hole, which if he plays correctly, could score him multiple hits.
The Bottomless is pretty good here, but you don't want to use it on the first Pendulum Summon they have. You might want to go Torrential first, then when they think they're really going to get you with 3 to 5 monsters, that's when you flip the Bottomless.
You want to walk them into it, because Oliver would be prepared for Bottomless Trap Hole. If you make a subpar play, the Torrential Tribute against Clifford Pendulum Summon, they go, okay, so next turn I can just get them all back. Your opponent might commit more to that second Pendulum Summon, and that's when you get them with the Bottomless Trap Hole.
So we're in the end phase right now. Harpy Harpist's second ability was used to go get a Harpy Channeler.
Yeah. Let's see what Oliver makes of this opening window. It's not a completely open window, as York has a Torrential Tribute and Bottomless Trap Hole hidden in that drawing bridge between him and his life points.
And he's also got multiple Mystical Space Typhoons, which are going to make life difficult for Oliver if he wants to try to get anything into his pendulum zones.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be resolving a Scout anytime soon.
No, he hasn't drawn for turn yet. He's got Climate Change. And,
Climate Change.
I mean, you saw what happened last time. Scout that destroyed. Next turn, drew another Summons Art. Get another Scout.
A lot of people have different ways of dealing with the Clifford deck, because it was so prominent in the TCG. At the WCQ, I was talking to a player, forgive me if you're watching this, I can't remember your name, and he's explained to me that the important part was not taking out the pendulum scales, but just taking away the cards that stopped you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And said, yeah, you can have all of those you want, because you're just going to get them back with Climate Change, you're just going to get them back or reset your scales with more monsters.
This is especially the case back when Scout was at 3 and Sacrifice was at 3.
Yeah,
there was no way you were going to do
fight.
it. So you'd have to just win otherwise.
Okay, yeah, so he's going for the Torrential Tribute.
And it looks like Jorg is, in fact, trying to bait him out. No Mystical Space Typhoons in the end phase. He's back to Jorg, who could really use a Harpy card right now.
He's got Hysteric Sign.
Oh, which is the one that he cannot use.
Harpy Channeler says to discard a Harpy monster.
Discard a Harpy card, yes. But what he can do is use the sign to get Elegant Egotist back from the graveyard.
And then play the Elegant Egotist. He could go for a Lightning Chidori, right? And shuffle away one of those back row cards.
He could. Whether it is prudent to do so remains to be seen.
If you're Oliver, do you use the Mystical Space Typhoon after your opponent commits to getting the Elegant Egoist?
You wait to see if he summons the Chittery. Because if he summons the Chittery and targets your Mystical Space Typhoon, it's just a massive, massive swing.
So then you take away the free searches, and you've got the Chidori effect to whiff.
No searches, and you keep your trap.
Okay, so he's actually going for it now.
Activates it right away.
This will stop it actually adding the Elegant Egotist. He still won't get the search for that though, right?
Correct, because he already activated the card. Yes, because it is a continuous spell, and it wasn't on the field when it would have resolved. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, so now he gets the best of both worlds in this case, because he denies his opponent a search and denies his opponent potential Lightning Chidori.
And his draw for the turn was Scout. Pays for the Scout, but it's taken out by Mystical Space Typhoon.
Yeah, York playing the game of keeping his opponent off the scales.
But Parl has that climate change face down, and he flips it now to get back both of his, all three of the cards from his Pendulum Zone.
This is the problem when trying to play this strategy that York is playing, where you try and handle all the scales. You can't even keep up. If Harpies can't keep up with the destruction, I'm pretty much convinced that there's no deck is going to be able to take out that many scales.
He goes for the Scout Search, and this time Jorg lets him have it. And I like this play, actually. He's going to try to basically rope-a-dope him into getting Clifford Monolith and then pendulum summoning all of his stuff into a bottomless trap hole. Yeah, I actually really like this.
This is what he's... this is essentially where playing the Torrential Tribute earlier to make Oliver feel a little bit safer.
Yep, he gets the Monolith.
Yeah, he's got the stealth, so he's thinking this is a pretty safe play. There's Monolith.
Pendulum summon for 2. And he gets the bottomless. Exactly as planned for Jorg Mueller. Clifford Helix and Carrier are both banished.
Oh, that's pretty good for Jorg right now. We're still going to see a normal summon, which gets over the Channeler pretty easily.
It's pretty big. 1,800 versus, I think, 1,400.
Jorg has given himself a tiny bit of breathing room, but is it enough? He's top decking with a deck that doesn't seem to be so great in it, if I'm honest. It's all combo cards that require 2 or more cards to be really functional. And if he passes here...
He's still got a decent cushion of life points. Because remember, he's got that second Typhoon down from the start.
Yeah.
So he can take out the Scout next time.
When he pays 800.
And that's Harpy Harpist that he's picked up. Sets it face down. And passes.
If Oliver draws... Yeah, he doesn't actually have anything in his extra deck left to pendulum summon because of that bottomless trap hole.
Lets the Scout go.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, no, he does not. Okay, pays for the cost and then chains it. So Stealth and Monolith is a 1 and a 1. Doesn't get you anything. Soul Transition could be used here to tribute off this Stealth for some more cards. Normal summons a second Stealth. The Harpist will get him a search in the end phase, but what he really needs is another Harpy card to discard with a Channeler. Soul Transition set, and end phase Harpy Harpist gets Harpy Channeler.
I was just checking the model if it's tribute summoned. I was wondering if you could get the sneaky extra draw off of Soul Transition.
Nope.
No, he does not.
It's if you tribute summon. Or if you tribute summon at this turn.
Very few cards let you tribute summon in your opponent's turn if they're not Monarch cards, but not usually a common thing that you would do.
Not without Ultimate Offering.
Oh wow, that card. That card. Currently forbidden for very, very good reasons.
We don't talk about that card. I'm sorry, please forgive me for talking about that card.
Starter deck Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah, this is from the very start.
Very first deck.
I think both of the starter decks had it. And he picks up Hysteric Sign.
Oh, Hysteric Party.
Yes, Hysteric Party, the other Hysteric card. I don't know that he has the turn he needs here. $3,600 damage currently represented on the field. He's picked up Clifford Carrier. That could do 5,400 total. Carrier is scale 1, of course, so Pendulum Summon not in the cards. And he's considering, do I want to Soul Transition to try to draw for something to get me the win right here? I know that Torrential and Bottomless are both gone.
Okay, Yorg is not taking that much damage, and he's going to get 5 Harpies.
Has he got 5? If he's got 5 Harpies...
No, he does not. He has
1, 2, 3...
4, 5.
He has got 5. Well, there you go. You can avoid taking the damage and have plenty of monsters on the field next turn. I had lost track of how many Harpies he had. It is lots.
I just always assume 5 when they flip it up and be surprised if they turn up with less. Or you could just check the graveyard every now and again if you're actually playing the game.
2 Harpists, 2 Channeler, and Harpy Lady 1.
For your attacks here, I presume you take out the 2 Channelers.
I'd probably take out... I'd take out the 1.
The attack boost.
That gives you an attack boost, because it'll bring the Channelers up to 2,000. Or they'll be able to... Or not the Channelers, the Harpists up to 2,000, or they'll be able to beat your normal summoned monsters.
This is true. And then he's going to take out 1 Channeler, and then he's giving his opponent the opportunity to draw a card to drop with a Channeler.
I mean, here's the thing. He's had multiple opportunities to draw any Harpy card in his deck to go with a Challenger, to get back into it, and it has never happened.
This is true. We're going to see a Soul Transition this turn.
Yeah, he doesn't... Oh...
Summoner's Art.
Except Summoner's Art.
See, you're just trying to keep clearing those pendulum scales, and he's getting nowhere very, very quickly.
Whereas Oliver's having to go at clearing as many of those Harpies as possible. He really wants to destroy Hysteric Party here, if he can. Let's go ahead and bring up Hysteric Party.
Yeah, sure.
It might be a little confusing if you've never seen how Harpies work, why there are suddenly 5 monsters on the field. That's Hysteric Party. So it summons as many Harpies as you can from the graveyard, but when the face-up card leaves the field, all of those monsters are destroyed. So that's why Oliver wants to make a tribute summon this turn with Helix to destroy the party.
Which will sink the rest of the monsters back into the graveyard, but that will trigger one of the
It'll trigger one of the Harpists, and then we're back at the same place we were the last 2 turns. I've got a Channeler, and I really need to draw a Harpy card. And so far, that has not come up in York's favor.
I'm sure he'll be fine. We're seeing a tribute.
Tributes for a Carrier to get 1 extra draw after setting a card. Fascinating. 2,400 Carrier will also be unaffected by the effects of rank 4 monsters since it's been normal summoned and it's level 6. This is where you want the Phantasmal Dragon, so you can just attack past this.
Yep, and then your opponent can't do anything about that.
Yeah, they can't stealth you because it can't be targeted by card effects.
Yeah, and then you just attack them directly twice, and you steal the win.
Yep.
I guess he must have figured his matchup was too good for needing to worry about that, but it's certainly not played out this way.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 Harpies agree. It's time to Xyz summon. That Yorg wants to take one last look at what's in the extra deck before he decides what to Xyz summon. I believe Exciton Knight is an option here, but it won't take out Carrier.
Yeah, he's hovering the Exciton Knight.
It looks like that's his first choice, Exciton Knight.
he goes for the Zero Fine again.
Zero Fine again. That'll get a pretty massive attack boost for all the other face-up cards on the field. That's, what, 500 of them?
Is the negation... How long does the negation of Zeraphane last? Until end of turn or just permanently?
I think it's till the end of your opponent's turn, but that might just be the attack point part.
Your next standby phase?
Yes.
So this would actually stop him using...
all of these
Skag.
changes activate until the next standby phase. Sounds good. Carrier is dropped by Zero Fine, who has been pumped up by 1,500 points. Harpus gets in for 17. That's 900 and what, 1,700? 26? Not bad at all. Zero Fine's been absolutely stunning in this matchup, as Oliver is dropped to 900.
He won't be using Scout next turn because it's negated.
Now, he might forget, though. He can still pay the cost of it, and if he forgets how Zero Fine works, that could drop him to 100.
And puts him very easily into York's range, but there's 3 monsters easily coming out of that extra deck next turn.
There are. And now they're recalculating Zero Fine's attack, but you actually don't recalculate Zero Fine's attack. It's you count once when it resolves, but not again.
Yeah, it's not a continuously checking effect.
So 35 is the attack of Zero Fine.
Mystical Space Typhoon, which is playable on the probably the random face down. Yep. He's got a disc in hand as well.
He's got Carrier in the extra deck, right?
Yes. Oh, it's
Second
another
hysterical party. That'll keep him around.
He's activating it to bring back the monsters, and then they get destroyed. I guess it's to trigger the Harpy Harpist again.
Likely. No, because if the Harpist gets bounced, he would not get, or bounced back to the hand, he would not be able to use it. Oliver is contemplating his Pendulum Summon. He goes for 4 monsters.
Just see how he fans those out so neatly.
Yep. He wants to make absolutely certain that the game ends this turn.
Which looks like that's certainly going to happen with the disc.
Tributes 2 for Disc. One of them is Carrier, which is going to be used to bounce Zero Fine back. Jorg's had 58.
Life points, probably an accident that the life points were listed as 900.
It's 2 Cliffort Helix. So Disc is 28. That'd be, what, 11 over the Harpist, and then 7,200 more? I don't think that Jorg is surviving this one.
Yeah, there's a handshake.
And he does not.
Harpy's going down.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, that's a shame. I was looking forward to casting this all day, and then he actually gets his best matchup.
Yeah, this
for
is the
day.
whole reason that you bring Harpies to the tournament, and to see the deck do exactly what it's supposed to, but have all your hopes dashed by the second Summoner's Art right off the top for the second Scout, after you'd already gotten rid of everything else and gone through a climate change. That is very disappointing.
Yeah, well, it's just exactly playing into Cliffords where they just you're not gonna run them out of cards.
Yeah, sometimes they just win.
It can just draw the card and go, oh, there it is. That's everything I needed. And that's really shame especially when York's deck, he got like 6 searches off of Hysteric Signs. He got all of the triggers for free. He had all his dancers. and still lost.
Yeah, it's the second game, though, Oliver actually played really well in keeping him off of his hysteric sign searches.
Yeah.
He had the ability to prevent both the egotist search and the rest of the searches the first time around, and he stopped them again the second time around.
And then he just ran out of fuel, and at that point he couldn't discard cards for his channeler. All of his cards work very much in combos where you actually do anything. And the problem with that is when your monsters end up always smaller than your opponent's monsters, if you ever get into a top decking situation, you're pretty much already out of the game, unless he draws Hysteric Party, which he had 2 of, but it just wasn't enough.
So, rough finish for Jorg Mueller, but England still has a shot at it. He does need to win.
He needs to win his next game, but he might be going through to the top 8. So that's everything from our end, guys.
That's one more round of Swiss left. This is the one that's going to determine who will be playing for the World Championship tomorrow. So don't miss that. We'll be back soon enough. Don't go away.
See you soon.